Hey, what's up? It's Sal Internado for Black Knight Nation here with Malcolm Morrison, a senior Apache following Army's football practice today. Malcolm, thanks for joining us for a few minutes.
No problem.
Yeah, I just want to, usually the first question is how did practice go today, Malcolm? But I don't want to ask you that today. I want to ask you about maybe what makes Army's football practice different than any maybe college football practice in the nation. What do you think makes, the times you get to go out there with your team different?
Yes, sir. I just think the natural overemphasis on the details and the fundamentals is definitely something we take pride in as a whole team. Just all the little things when we go out, and also obviously we just love to be hardworking. We like to do everything full speed and as hard as we can to maximize our time outside.
Yeah, I look at those fourth quarter warriors right at the end of every practice. I look at those. I look at drills, and you were talking about like fundamentals. I was going to ask you this a little later in the conversation, but might as well ask you now. The position you play, right? I mean, it's kind of a combination defensive back, linebacker. So how much more fundamentals are you working on maybe during a practice, or are you working on more than maybe some of your teammates?
Yes, sir. Our coaches always stress, just always listen to all the coaches, even if they're not speaking directly to you. So, especially with my position, I try to, take in all the information from safeties coach, corners coaches, my position coach, Coach Lou's defense coordinator, because it's all information I can use in my skill set to build on all my little fundamentals and details.
I was going to ask you, what position group room do the Apaches go in? I mean, do you bounce around, or are you with the outside linebackers? What position group room are you in?
I would say we bounce around mainly where we could be with the boundary outside linebacker sometimes, but mainly we'll be our own position group sometimes, or we'll go with the safeties.
When you came to, I was going to ask you, what was your first introduction to Army football? Because I know you played locally at Iona Prep. What was your first introduction to Army football? Was it as a younger kid as a fan, or was it when they were recruiting you?
It was during my recruitment. Lawrence First and Gold, Coach Luce's football camp. My school went down there the summer going into my senior year. So that was when I got into contact with the Army staff after that camp.
It's kind of, I guess it works it comes full circle now where Coach Luce is actually your position coach, right?
So, yes, sir. Full circle.
What are some of the things you found out about Army in that camp that you maybe weren't aware of, and what made you more interested in West Point, would you say?
Well, actually, Coach Luce had hit me up maybe a week after the camp. He didn't even speak to me there. And they invited me just to just tour on campus, unofficial visit. And I just learned a lot about the history, definitely of West Point. Then later, and after my season was done, I came to a game here, a home game at Mikey Stadium, and the energy was definitely just unmatched anywhere else.
And that was obviously your first time at Mikey, right? And I mean, you
Yeah.
you built so many memories as a player. Now within Mikey Stadium, what do you think is your favorite memory so far as an Army football player heading into your senior year?
Man, I played a lot of games at Mikey, but I don't know. I'll probably, even though I didn't play last year, looking at my teammates win that Army Navy game last year at Mikey Stadium, with all the history, everything that goes along with it, how long we were at school preparing for just the uncertainty of the whole season, just watching them guys pull through and just work really hard to get where they were and pull out the win.
But you kind of grow up in a football family, right? Your dad, Patrick, was played for the Giants in the NFL. Just wondering, do you get into football early when you're younger, or how much does maybe his advice, or how much was he involved in your football where you are right now?
Yes, sir. I started when I was about 8, 9, so not too early, not too late. He did have an influence in my life, obviously, but it wasn't the first sport I started playing. And then, yeah, he was my coach throughout Pop Warner. He was my position coach. He was a defensive coach. So obviously, I did take in a lot of knowledge from my dad. But once I got into the high school and college ranks, he'll definitely still give advice, but he leaves it to the main coaches who I'm coaching under.
How proud do you think he is of you, because of where, coming from Iona Prep and now getting to Army, and being this, you're going to be entering your third year of starting for Army, and how proud do you think your family, maybe your dad, is of you?
I think he's proud, especially where I came from, just how hard I've worked, especially in academics also. But But also, he'll always say there's always room for improvement at the same time. So, he'll still always give me different tips and stuff on what I could do to get better.
Now, to wrap it up, let's just talk about this Army defense coming back at number 1 ranked against yards allowed last year, and you bring back, man, Malcolm, the talent that you guys bring back and the players that you bring back to this defense. I know that, and this year now you have more time to maybe go over schemes in Coach Woody's defense. So, I mean, what do you think we'll see from Army's defense this season?
Definitely just some hardworking individuals, people who are just committed to each other and just know that we all have each other's backs when we're out on the field so we can play fast and aggressive. Like you said, we definitely have a lot of talent. So we just want to make sure we all work together and play hard.
Now, after games, do you hang out with the defensive backs? Do you hang out with the linebackers? I mean, that secondary is a pretty strong group and a lot of guys who got a couple captains on it within that secondary. So who do you hang out with after like wins or games?
Probably the DBs. I came in that corner, played corner my first 2 years, so definitely hang out with, Julian McDuffie, Caleb Johnson, Cedric Cunningham, all the DBs.
What was the transition like for you when you were, you're being recruited as a corner, I guess, and then they tell you you're going to play this Apache position, which is kind of a combination defensive back linebacker?
It wasn't that hard going to my sophomore year. I played nickel my sophomore year, and then Coach Woody came, and they kind of just changed the position to Apache. It was basically like a base 5 DB, so it was kind of like the same thing, just different language. So I think I adjusted pretty well.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, Malcolm, we appreciate your time today after practice and wish you all the best during the season. And maybe keep bouncing around those position group rooms, right? And keep working hard. We really appreciate it. Thanks so much, Malcolm.
Yes, sir. Thank you.